Have you ever really watched a dog drink? The dog's tongue plunges in, there are splashes, and water flies everywhere. The dog can turn the bowl into a miniature wave pool. But now let's take a look at how a rat drinks. No splashes, no water getting everywhere, just these tiny, delicate little movements. The whole process seems almost invisible. So, why does it look so different from the way a dog drinks? Well, in this video, we'll take a closer look at why rats drink more delicately than dogs. Before we look at how a rat drinks, we need to first find out how a rat even finds water. Common wild rats like Norway rats and roof rats need to access water regularly, and they're really good at finding it. A rat living in forested areas can find water in puddles, in muddy ditches, in streams, ponds, in tiny drops collected on leaves or rocks, or something as simple as morning dew. But if the rat lives in an urban area, then water choices become less obvious and more unusual. An urban rat might find water in a clogged gutter, a puddle beneath a flower pot, condensation from a pipe, a small plumbing leak, or a dripping hose. Now let's take a look at what happens when a rat actually finds water. Both rats and dogs can't put their lips around a bottle and take a drink like a human can. Instead, they have to use their tongues. But they use their tongues in completely different ways. A rat's tongue rapidly extends. It touches the surface, it retracts and repeats again and again and again. And here's an interesting little detail. A rat can lick at roughly 6 to 7 times per second. A dog can't lick that fast. Besides, dogs aren't really licking up the water like a rat does. Let's take a closer look at how a dog drinks, because a dog's drinking technique is remarkable too. Now, a dog's tongue is actually curling backward towards its chin, like a ladle, with water clinging to the underside as the tongue retracts and pulls a column of water upward. And then before that column of water can fall back into the bowl, the dog will snap its jaws around that water column and then drink that. Kind of like a human drinking from a water fountain, except, of course, a human doesn't have to create the column of water with their tongue. So a dog isn't actually pulling the water into its mouth with its tongue. It's using its tongue to create a column, which it then can just snap its mouth around. And the dog's drinking style helps explain why it's so messy. A rat needs to stay alert to predators the whole time that it's drinking, something that a dog generally doesn't really have to worry about. And a rat does this by taking only short sips. Rats will drink for a few seconds at a time, and then they lift their heads to listen, smell the air, and scan their surroundings. They also don't close their eyes while they're drinking. They're able to scan a wide field, including above their head, allowing them to see danger all around them. A wild rat has to deal with so many challenges. It's a tiny little prey animal and vulnerable to so many predators. Imagine being a human back in the dinosaur age. Well, it's like that for rats, except worse. Rats need to find food, shelter, water, all the while evading predators. But rats are really good at surviving. They survive in forests, fields, cities, farms, sewers, parks, and countless other environments. And when a rat does find water, its body has an extraordinary efficient system for taking advantage of it. A tongue moving 6 or 7 times per second, precise coordination between muscles and nerves, and sensory systems monitoring for predators the entire time. What looks like a simple sip is actually an incredibly sophisticated survival behavior. So let's go back to the dog. One animal is large, one is tiny, one creates splashes, the other barely disturbs the surface. But both have evolved remarkably effective solutions to exactly the same problem, which is how do you get water into your body? So the rat is drinking delicately because its body has evolved a highly specialized way of doing the job. A rat taking a tiny drink might look like one of the simplest things in nature, but underneath that little drink is an extraordinary piece of biology. Thank you so much for watching.